Thursday, December 6th. And Mr. Clerk, you want to get us started there?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, our first item is the adoption of the agenda.
All right, we have a motion, and I'll second it to adopt the agenda. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have an agenda. Thank you. That's unanimous with Commissioner Duncan Walker absent.
Our next item is the approval of the minutes from the September 18th, 2023 Audit Committee meeting.
We have a motion to adopt the audits. All in favor, please, or excuse me, to adopt the minutes. All in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously with Commissioner Duncan Walker absent.
We are on to our business discussion items. Our first item is 2023-1154, Police Overtime Billing and Collections, with the recommendation that the Audit Committee review, approve, and recommend the City Auditor's report.
Madam Auditor.
Hi, good afternoon, Rebecca Anderson, Interim City Auditor, Mayor Ward, and Committee Member Monk. Thank you for this opportunity to present our office's activity for the quarter. I would also like to thank management and staff of the City Auditor's Office for their hard work and dedication, professionalism to providing professional independent auditing services to the city. Even through the transitions we've had within our office, they've been very supportive and helpful. And lastly, I also would like to thank management for their assistance and trust in our professionalism and our expertise to provide these independent services and support to our city. We're close to, we're almost at the end of the year, so I want to make sure everyone knows how much we appreciate them and all of your support. On November 30th, I would like to mention one thing briefly. On November 30th, the General Manager, CEO of the Utilities, asked that we pause audit activity until management has had time to obtain input and direction from the authority. Thusly, the City Auditor's Office paused audit activity for GRU while the reporting relationship is determined. I mention that because the agenda for this meeting is reflective of that, okay? All right, so police overtime billing and collections audit. We conducted an audit of police overtime billing and collections. It's often referred to as police third-party billable overtime. You may have heard it that way instead. We reviewed the city's processes for billing and collecting GPD's overtime activities for parties external to GPD. That includes the city, county, and then also private industries and other agencies. You may be accustomed to seeing our brave officers out in the community supporting other entities' activities, out directing traffic, and so many other security-type policing activities. This is considered billable overtime. So as a result, we issued 2 reports. One is a confidential report, which contains results related to information technology internal control recommendations. So of course, those are confidential and will remain exempt from public record according to Florida statute. The other report is the public report, which we're going to be presenting on today. It does not contain the confidential aspects of the report and is available for public record. So I would like to introduce Ms. Diana Ferguson Satterthwaite. She was the lead auditor on this engagement, and she will present the report. Diana?
Thank you, Rebecca. Good afternoon, Mayor, Committee Member Monk, management team. I'm Diana Ferguson Satterthwaite, and I will be presenting this report. Before I do, however, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the management and staff of both GPD and the Department of Financial Services for their professionalism, their cooperation, and just general accessibility through this audit. Without their help, we would not be able to present this report today. Next slide, please. Okay, so why did we do this audit? Well, our objective was to review the adequacy and effectiveness of processes and controls for third-party billing and collections relating to police overtime, and this audit was included in the City Auditor's plan. Next slide, please. The scope included an assessment of controls relating to police overtime and billing and collections for the period October 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2023, and we focused on governance, event communication, event reporting, and the billing and collections. Next slide, please. A little bit of background. So GPD provides community-oriented law enforcement services to the city of Gainesville. And in responding to both public and private needs, they provide overtime service to the community for a fee. The services they provide include traffic control, crowd control, and the uniform security assignments. And the hours that they incur in providing these services are classified as police billable overtime. Next slide, please. A little bit of background on the financials. So the city established a police billable overtime fund to account for revenues and expenditures associated with the billable overtime that GPD incurs outside of their regular duties. The rates for police billable overtime are based on officers' rank and are approved by the chief of police. The audited financial statement reflected a negative fund balance and an operating deficit. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a graphical representation of the billing and the collections process. So it begins with the customer's application. An event is created, event is communicated and approved. Officers report their hours. Reports are accumulated with total hours. Then they move on to billing the customer, and finally there is collection. Next slide, please. The process is decentralized and it involves 3 departments: special events and assignment, GPD fiscal, and the Department of Financial Services. Next slide, please. The special event and assignment, they are the ones who administer police billable overtime. GPD established the general order, that's their procedure, and it outlines eligibility, the procedure for communicating and coordinating events, rules for signing up for these billable overtimes, and also rules for handling exceptions. Members who have completed training and have achieved solo status are eligible to work billable overtime, and the hours that they work must be reported within 72 hours. Next slide, please. The fiscal department, once they've received invoice review reports from the special events department, they initiate the billing process, and this is for both non-city customers as well as city departments. Fiscal also maintains a log of invoice review reports received and invoices generated in the ERP system to ensure that customers are billed. Next slide, please. And finally, the Financial Services Department completes the billing process. They give customers 30 days to settle these invoices. Late invoice notices are sent beginning at 30 days, and thereafter they send notices monthly. If invoice remain outstanding over 180 days, it is assigned to a collector. Next slide, please. Okay, and here we're just outlining our member participation. So the ERP system had 284 GPD personnel that are eligible to participate in overtime. From this table, we can see that officers from all ranks, or police from all ranks, officers, corporals, sergeants, they all participated in billable overtime. However, police officers accounted for most of the 5,140 slots. 2,100 were carried out by police officers. Next slide, please. There are a wide cross-section of customers that utilized GPD's overtime services. We had 120 customers in the period October 2021 to June 2023. 9 customers accounted for 77% of the event slots, and going clockwise, we see that North Florida account for 37%, UF football, that's a big one, again 16%, The city, 5%, also the same for Wawa, and it continues in that order until we have the remaining 23%, which is a lot, several customers. North Florida, just for information, you probably saw it on the first slide, that we have the Alachua County Sheriff's Office that had 42 persons providing overtime service. They share North Florida with the GPD. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're at our results. So we identified procedures that are adequately designed and are working as intended, and we also identified moderate risk opportunities for improvements, and these related to governance and event billing and collection. In the upcoming slides, we'll start off with what went well and then go into the issues. Next slide, please. Okay, so what went well? We have to congratulate GPD for these things. GPD's procedures for communicating billable overtime events are transparent and they're accessible to all impacted personnel. The process that's used to transfer customer payment information from the city's payment system to the ERP system is effective. Fiscal department implemented a log that effectively tracks billing information received from the special events and assignment coordinator to the ERP system. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our first issue, governance. And while there were procedures, the procedures do not guide overtime, oversight and monitoring of billable overtime or rate determination, periodic monitoring of police overtime and collection process, so they were not documented. The procedures for determining rates were not documented. Documentation was not maintained for the effective dates for rate increases. Next slide, please. The recommendations provided to management to enhance governance include monitoring performance to ensure that goals are achieved and compliance with policies and procedures, as well as establishing procedures for police overtime rates to third party. And these should include components of the cost, the approval process, and communication process. Next slide, please. Okay, GPD accepted our recommendations and they provided action plans to address these recommendations. Some of the things that they will do: GPD will establish procedures to monitor performance. They will be working with the Department of Financial Services on procedures applicable to billing and collections, and they will formalize the existing procedures for determining rates for police services to third parties. Next slide, please. Okay, so on to our second issue, billing and collections. The procedures were not adequate to ensure that customers pay the city for police overtime services to third party. The areas that required enhancement include reporting, billing, and collections. Next slide, please. The controls were not adequate to ensure timely reporting of hours or accurate computation of costs. Overtime hours for 6 events were not recorded in a timely manner, resulting in incorrect billing. We identified 192 computational errors in the invoice review reports, and these reports are used to initiate customer billing. Next slide, please. Controls were not sufficient to ensure customers are billed timely, that the costs are allocated, and that payment is received. 10 customers were not billed for all hours provided. 14 customers were not invoiced, and the total of these was $7,523. Interdepartment costs of $32,392 relating to 30 in the user department were not allocated, and the customers did not remit payment for 8 invoices, totaling $14,336. We provided recommendations to enhance the opportunities we identified, and these include reviewing the overtime reporting system on a monthly basis to confirm that hours are updated, reviewing and testing formulas in the overtime module to ensure accuracy, and review and update the billing procedures. Next slide, please. Management provided your action plan, which is here. I'll just give you the highlights. They will be establishing a process to review the overtime reporting system to confirm that officers' hours are correct. They will evaluate the reports in the overtime module for accuracy. They will be updating the billing procedures to require documentation of periodic reconciliations. Next slide, please. They'll work with the Department of Financial Services to implement invoice approval workflow in Workday. They'll consider advance payment for services to third parties, and they will be working with HR to attract and retain talent. And that's it. Thank you. Do you have questions for me?
Very good, thank you.
I have one quick thing, if I can, that I failed to mention, is that the city auditor's office has been focusing on revenue enhancing and reducing expenses types audits. So that's what called us to this one. Any deficits that are realized in that fund, of course, the general fund kind of covers that. So we're doing our part by helping to identify and just fine tune the controls that would help us make sure that we have sufficient revenues receiving to cover the expenses, and hopefully a little more.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Diana.
Monk, did you have questions for that?
Maybe not so much a question, but a comment. I think, again, this problem is common where you have items not being billed or don't say so much collection. I think once it's billed, it's tracked and there is a process for collecting it. But the decentralization of the methods that you've got now is what concerns me. There should be one person that's assigned the responsibility of tracking the applications and matching them so that the billing is assured. In the material, it indicated there were times where the bill might not go out for months. And you've got $32,000 really that's in limbo, or I think the collectability of it is poor at best, because these were problems in the computation of the invoices themselves, apparently. But I think responsibility needs to be assigned to a person and not just say the department head or somebody in a particular office, where it's shared all through the city. And that may be an exaggeration, but clearly where there's not one person that is responsible at the end of the day, in week, month, to be sure that the information is collected and the invoices are prepared. So I think some procedure needs to be put in place to cover that.
Mr. Monk, thank you, if I may. I know that they do have an individual who's responsible. It was more of the oversight and monitoring of that to ensure that it's correct as well. Also within that time period, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that there were delays. They lacked staff in that area, which is why we recommended increasing staff. So during that period, they didn't have staff to do it. So when they did get someone, that person, of course, focused on trying to pay and catch up the bills. So that did cause that delay. And then the last thing I think was the ERP system with the computational errors we believe are the ERP system. Was that the way? Oh, it was the creation of the PDF.
It's the creation, yes.
Okay, I'll let you speak on that, Diana. You're more knowledgeable.
Okay, yes, so the computational errors really starts with the initiation process, and that's a system that they're working on, looking at what it is that they input in the system relating to just the calculations. If they fix those should address the computational errors. For the city departments, I think staff, based on our conversation, staff weren't aware that they were supposed to be forwarding that information. So one of the things the audit did was to highlight these things. These are things that you need to do. And then the reconciliation process, which we gave them credit for, they started that in the latter part. So a lot of the things that weren't billed, they were for the earlier parts, 2021 and 2022, but we saw where once they implemented the log, there was some improvements. And we don't have, we have someone from GPD, so he may be able to address what it is that they're doing.
We're both here, Keith and I are both. He's much more important.
Welcome, Chief Scott, Chief Inspector Kernan.
No, good afternoon. We, through this whole exercise, brought up some points that we thought we needed to enhance. So there were some things that we saw that fell through the loops, and we think we put in things that will rectify that. Primary concern was, quite frankly, tracking the billing, making sure that we billed and then that the collections were occurring. And from what we've gathered so far in our discussion with the auditors is that process had to be revamped, and it has been. We worked with the billing and collections, and we think we have a process in place now that will rectify that deficiency. The other thing that was of note was establishing and making sure we codify how we set our billing rate. We did it, there was a process that was in place, but then you have some institutional knowledge that walks away for a little while and then comes back, and we figure out that we need to put it in writing. We can't just have one person or two people have that knowledge. So we have codified our process as far as how do we determine the billing, the billing rate. And we make sure that we also encompass administrative fees and depreciation on equipment in that. Those were a couple of points that we thought were significant and made those adjustments. But overall, we thought the exercise was a good one for us and help us refine. And we always say that we can improve, and we're improving in this arena.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, question, I'm not sure who the right person to ask is, but somebody will be able to answer it. We had 5,140 slots for billable overtime. What did we bill? I mean, how does that relate to dollars?
Okay, so slots, when a customer requests, they may request, for example, 10 officers for 3 hours each. Each officer is a slot.
Right, but what was our total dollars billed?
Oh, the dollars amount bill, I don't have that information for you,
Okay.
Yeah, we can
It's
make sure we
probably-
but we can
provide
provide that
that to you.
information. I
Yeah,
don't
we can
have
make
that
sure we
information.
provide that to you. It looks
Okay,
like we
thank you.
have it.
So, another question, the interdepartmental costs of $32,396. Can you be more specific about what interdepartmental costs mean?
So interdepartmental costs, this would be where other city departments use GPD services, and so they would incur that overtime.
Gotcha.
The expense for the overtime would be there, but it wouldn't be transferred to the applicable department, so.
Okay. All right, any other questions, Mr. Monk?
No, there is a chart.
Yeah, and the bigger report, yeah. I'll go back and look that up. Okay, thank you. Madam Manager, do you have anything to add? Or- Okay. Madam Auditor? Yeah. Okay. No. So anyone from the public, have questions? Okay. All right, Mr. Monk, did you want to make a motion to move this on to the full commission?
So moved.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, that passes unanimously with Commissioner Neckenwalker absent.
All right, our next item is 2023-115, City Auditor Quarterly Update with the recommendation that the Audit Committee review and approve the City Auditor's report.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Mayor Ward, Committee Member Monk. During our regularly scheduled Audit Committee meetings, the City Auditor's Office presents this quarterly update of our activities for the audit, assurance, and investigations that we conducted over the previous quarter. We've been very busy providing services and assistance to management and conducting investigations, independent audits, and risk reviews upon management's requests. Sometimes we look at documents, whatever, if we're requested to kind of identify if there's some risk or whatever. Those type of things typically don't end up on our final reports or anything like that, but we've been very busy, and we appreciate management's trust in us to call on us. As I mentioned before, at the request of the GRU manager, we did pause. So this quarter's City Auditor's update will contain general government audit activity only.
Very good.
Okay, all right. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, next slide, please. I'd like to just thank my audit team. Thanks so much for all you do. Next slide, please. You can go to the next one. This is just the citywide strategic plan focus, which really guides our activities. The audits that we do, we consider all of these activities when we're conducting audits, when we're doing the audit plan. We look at all of that and we consider it. Next slide, please. Recently completed audits projects. We have police overtime billing and collection, which was just presented for our recently completed project. Next slide. Work in progress. We do have the IT risk assessment that is in progress. So of course, the objective is to identify the IT audit risk universe and perform a risk assessment of IT-related areas for the City of Gainesville for audit planning. It is underway. We are looking at that spring 2024 to wrap that up. And the reason why this is so important is that it will provide a risk review and picture of what areas across the city have higher risk, and that will produce a list of areas or systems that really require an IT audit. So that's why that's so important. So we're excited about that. Management's been working with us, and we're ready to get to that part. Next slide, please. A continuous auditing program, you're familiar with that. Part is a three-phase project. It's an ongoing continuous auditing program. We're doing that for this year, depending on management, whether management will implement any reviews. It may or may not continue next year for this, but this is us reviewing certain areas, key functions of the city, such as P-card, travel expense and reimbursement, and payroll transactions. We have completed our reviews of P-cards, travel expense and reimbursement, and now we're going to be looking at payroll transactions. Okay, and so that one is underway, spring 2024 for that one to be complete. And in this is not it's an audit, but it's also, we're looking for fraud, waste, and abuse, identifying areas that we can add value to the organization. Okay, next slide, please. Before we get into periodic monitoring, I didn't put it up here, but I think I need to mention it, is the fleet audit. Will also be issued at some point soon. So just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. This is general government financial reporting, internal reporting over financial controls. Internal controls over financial reporting. And what we're doing here is that we're monitoring just the timely implementation of general government financial reporting. We are aware that management successfully worked really hard, and the items that were identified on the last audit, external audit, reduced from 6 down to 2, and we are now in another audit, and so we're just conducting some monitoring. We have follow-up for an audit report that we issued, which is entitled Internal Control over Financial Reporting. That due date was extended until December 31, and we will be in there in January, working with management to validate what controls have been implemented. Okay. Next slide, please. Next, you can go to the next one. This slide represents the recommendations from the cultural assessment report, which was issued May 18th, 2021, which was not only internal audit, I believe internal audit led it, but it was contributed by several departments within the city. Next slide, please. The city manager provided an update on where we are on those 5 areas about a month ago, I believe. So I looked, it looks like we're probably at the same areas just a couple of weeks ago. She did provide an update to management through a memo or report. So we see that 3 of the areas are successfully closed. They're completed, they're ongoing, and 2 of the areas are in process. If you look at the policy management framework, of course, we know that that takes a while. That's like the policy overview for the whole city. So that's going to take a little while. And employee suggestions, it says that management launched the organizational health survey. We did also see that come out, and we all had an opportunity to participate in that. And then stay interviews are being scheduled according to HR in winter 2024. Next slide, please, which it feels like that today. Audit issue follow-up. Next slide, please. This is just kind of shows our process, of course, how we look at the risks that are moderate to high, and we come back and we validate with management. We come in to see the progress that management has done. Next slide, please. We have a closed audit issue here that is related to general government. Please keep in mind these are general government. Citywide succession planning audit was successfully closed. Management worked really hard, the HR team and with whomever else they're working with. I know they have a core team there that worked on the succession planning audit, and they have a succession plan in place where they're evaluating roles, so on and so forth. So kudos to them for that. I know it's been a long time coming because the report was May 18, 2021. We've had new staff in there now, a new management in there now, and they have it underway. So kudos to them. We get to close that one. All right, next slide. And I didn't get a chance to kind of update the slides because of the requests that came in. It didn't allow time for me to kind of come in and break everybody apart, so I just kind of stuck with GG. Fraud hotline and investigations. Next slide, please. Okay, this is as of November 20th, 2023. We did have 2 new cases since last audit committee. And open investigations, we still have 1, and closed for 2 because there was some overlapping. Next slide, please. External audits. Fiscal year 2023, as I just mentioned, general government's external financial statement audit is underway by Purvis Gray. Got a chance to meet with them a couple of weeks ago, and they will be back into the office in January to continue their work. Let's see, so yeah, that one is underway. Next slide, please. All right, we're actually at wrap up. Upcoming committee meetings. I know Will is going to talk about that a little bit, but because they are solidifying the dates, upcoming dates, but tentatively we have March 5th for our audit committee meeting, June 18th, and September 17th of 2024. Keep in mind, we also schedule some off-cycle or at least one off-cycle audit committee for the presentation of the financial statements from Purvis Gray. If it's not ready by that date, of course, we know on March 5th, it probably will be after that. There will be another one scheduled, okay? Fraud, waste, and abuse. Everyone, that is our fraud, waste, and abuse hotline. Feel free to reach out to us on that. It's confidential. And then if you say, hey, okay, you say it's confidential, but I don't want to have any trace, you can go to the Lighthouse Services link there, go in and submit your confidential hotline report. And then to report other issues, or even if you would like to report other issues that are related to HREO, you would like to remain anonymous, you can also do that. And then we hand it off to them and they complete the report. Okay, next slide. Okay, that's our information. Thank you so much. Any questions from anyone?
Any questions? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have any questions either, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank you because this may be your last meeting as interim city auditor. May not, we'll see, but yes, you have gone above and beyond as our interim city auditor, and I really appreciate the effort that you've put into all of this and the grace with which you've handled this over the last year. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And to the auditing team, thank you all for everything. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone from the public to weigh in on this? Okay. Mr. Monk, would you like to make a motion to pass this on to the full commission, please?
Move to further this to the commission.
All right, seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously with Commissioner Duncan Walker absent.
Next, we have member comment.
Everything?
None?
I don't have anything other? Okay.
Do we want to change the tentative date for the next meeting to the?
So as outlined in the report we just received, March 5th is a preferable date. I think that works better. It's a Tuesday. We try not to do these on Mondays if we can avoid it.
Understood. And
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.